This is the Dallas Morning News.
Eat, Drink, DFW from the Dallas Morning News is made possible by Central Market.
Hello, and welcome to Eat, Drink, DFW, the podcast from the Dallas Morning News food team. Each week, we take a look at food and drink trends in North Texas, talk about restaurants in Dallas-Fort Worth, learn some new recipes, and sometimes even get tips from you, our listeners. I'm Anna Butler, the food editor at the Dallas Morning News. We'll get into the latest restaurant openings and closings, along with some of the impacts from the recent winter storm in the food scene. And later, we're talking about some fascinating findings around Texans and how they eat during the Super Bowl. That's all coming up right after this.
Central Market is really into food, like fish flown in so fresh it still has jet lag into food. Our sourdough starter has been around since grunge was a thing into food. We're talking more prime cuts than a greatest hits album into food. Central Market is really into food. If you are too, then we're the HQ for you. Whether you're a make every recipe in the cookbook foodie or a my favorite recipe is reheat type who just digs the delectable, no place makes every day more delicious like Central Market. Really into food. Shop now at centralmarket.com.
For the latest food and restaurant news in Dallas-Fort Worth, visit dallasnews.com/food. Also, we would love to hear from you, so email us at eatdrink@dallasnews.com. Today, I'm joined by Claire Baller and Imelda Garcia. Sarah Blaskovich is out. We're going to preface this that we are doing it from home right now, some of us from closets, because the roads are still less than ideal. But let's start with what's right in front of us. What have y'all been hearing about the impact of this icy weather on local restaurants?
Yeah, so to no one's surprise, this week has been really, really tough for restaurants. Most places were closed Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and now with impacted hours on Wednesday. And so something to keep in mind here is that weekend hours, kind of across the board for bars and restaurants, are their busiest days of the week and their most profitable days of the week. Bakeries as well. I talked with two restaurant owners, and really quick, let me just jump in to say, like most people right now, I am stuck at home with my children, so you might hear them in the background. But I talked with several restaurant owners who told me that it's been really devastating to be closed for the duration of time that they've had to be closed. The owner of Taco y Vino told me that between his two restaurants, he estimates he's lost about 30 grand because of the closures, which just will never be recovered. So I would urge people to keep this in mind as they go back out into the world the rest of this week and visit bars, restaurants, coffee shops, to go to the spots that are really small because they're really hurting.
And also we were without DoorDash because the streets were like nobody can drive. I went walking in my neighborhood and there was this convenience store, the only one that was open, and two men were there and they were really frustrated because they were like cooped up in their apartment and they were tired of the food they had in the fridge. And there was nothing open, not even McDonald's. So imagine, this is like an apocalypse or something.
Well, and I think it's important for us to all acknowledge how lucky we are that we can work from home, and not like a be grateful way, because I think being cooped up at home is hard, and I'm getting like so much PTSD from COVID where I lived alone. I couldn't go anywhere and I was so lonely. But it's funny because I think the tone sometimes, just even like watching TV news and things like that, can be shaming of people who go out on the roads. And you're like, no, like there's this line between safety and also I need to actually pay my rent. And there are a lot of people who have now missed out on 4 or 5 days of wages, let alone tips, that it's going to be a really, really tough month for them. I think right now it's projected that apparently we're supposed to get an early spring in February, which sounds crazy, but typically February is when there is snow. The reason that this is front of mind to me is that I got married over the weekend and it doesn't snow in January in Texas ever. And that was the fate that I had.
And I want to know everything.
Everything changed. I was like, I had a plan on Monday of last week, and by Friday, everything was different except for who I was marrying. And obviously that was the most important part. Obviously we're excited to be married, but we had this like elaborate dim sum planned for our reception, and that became, we went to Zalot. Like I went in my wedding dress because I was like, if we're going to do this, we're getting the photos for it.
That's awesome.
We still had a cake. We burned through a few photographers, but we got pictures. So it turned out fine. But it's just like, this is the way that it works out for a lot of people. And again, maybe my first world problem, but it was quite the weekend, everybody.
But now you have an unforgettable story to tell your kids. in the future.
Yeah, everyone's like, you'll get to tell that for years. And I was like, but I didn't want to. Uh, okay. So, despite the weather, though, we actually do have some recent news to share. Imelda, do you want to tell us about El Gallo?
Yes, Almacén El Gallo will be a new concept that will open in Fort Worth. This was created by Adrián Burciaga, who was the founder of Don Artemio restaurant in Fort Worth, and Martín Quirarte, who was the former general manager. So this Almacén El Gallo, they're going to have this fonda concept where you can go and eat lunch. And then in the afternoon, it's going to be kind of a botanero style restaurant. That is like between a restaurant and a cantina. So you can have your drinks, your cocktails, and some real quality food. All the menu, it's created by Chef Rodrigo Rivera Rio, who is the owner of Coli Cocina de Origen in Monterrey. And this restaurant was recognized with a Michelin star for 2 years in a row. So I think they're going to have authentic Mexican food. They are saying, we are not making fusions. We are not inventing anything. We are just giving the food that we know. They are aiming to open in the spring, and let's see what happens.
That sounds delicious to me. We also had a restaurant open in Plano on January 26th, which was, smack dab in our winter storm weather. That was J. Alexander's. It is a chain restaurant like Hillstone or Houston's, but it's high quality food. And it has a very eclectic menu from steaks to sushi and everything in between. But they've been having dozens of staff members from across the country come in just to make sure that this Plano J. Alexander's is just the same as all the others, which I would say the Hillstone Houston's thing, consistency is that calling card for that company. And J. Alexander's is the same way. They're planning to open another location in Prosper. No word on if they're going to head into Dallas proper at any point, but, we're excited about that.
And I know we always have news about closures, and that's sad, but it happens.
Yeah, I was going to say Palmer's in Lakewood is going to close. Technically, it will not have a brick and mortar store anymore coming into this weekend, but it will pivot to a ghost kitchen and catering. So you're still going to be able to get Palmer's, but the owner, Palmer Fortune, said that it was a huge relief that they have decided to pull the plug on this brick and mortar side of the operation. I, for one, am just sad that I can't just go get the hot chicken pancake poppers whenever I want them anymore.
Is this a restaurant that was in the Guy Fieri's show?
Yes, it was in Guy Fieri's show back in 2024.
Wow, that's sad.
And then we have two other closures, unfortunately, to add. One is a longtime bar in Deep Ellum. This is Dot's Hop House in Deep Ellum, which opened in 2016, and it is closing permanently. We don't really know why. The owners haven't given a reason, but this is one of those businesses that is on Commerce Street. And that street has been significantly impacted by road reconstruction that has shut down that street, reduced it to one lane, and has really, really hurt some businesses in that stretch. And another is Heim Barbecue in Fort Worth. This is the original location that will be shutting down. The others will stay open. And the owners are also adding a budget concept, which will be called Heim Pig Stand. And they plan to offer more affordable barbecue, so plates of lunch and dinner for anywhere from $12 to $15 for several dishes.
What y'all can't see right now, if you're listening, is that Claire's son is currently stroking her hair as she talks, and it's really wonderful.
Just really opportune timing here.
Well, on that note, we're going to take a short break. And when we come back, we're going to share some findings about how Texans eat during the Super Bowl.
Central Market is really into food. Like when we say cheese, it's in 12 languages into food. Butchers, bakers, and sushi roll makers into food. We're talking so obsessive about quality you can shop blindfolded into food. Central Market is really into food. If you are too, then let us turn your shopping list into a treasure map. Get inspired, get adventurous, or just get a chef-made dinner when you've got more taste buds than time. No place makes every meal more amazing like Central Market. Really into food. Shop now at centralmarket.com.
Welcome back in just a minute. We're going to get into Super Bowl food, but first, a quick reminder to follow our podcast. We want to make sure you never miss an episode. Okay, I got a bunch of stats from Roto Grinder, which is a really funny name, but it's sports data and analytics. The company has been asking a couple thousand people about the Super Bowl, and specifically Super Bowl food and what it means to them. And so I'm going to have y'all read some of the findings. Imelda?
Wow. 37 states say that chicken wings are their favorite Super Bowl snack. I will say 50, but 37 is surprising for me. 7 states say pizza. 6 states say chips and dip.
Can y'all guess where Texas falls within this?
Whoa.
I would say wings.
Wings is correct. I personally, though, was more surprised because I feel like I always have pizza at the Super Bowl. And then it's also like, do you do anything socially in Texas without chips and salsa? I don't know.
Here's how Texans ranked popular dips. So 28% of respondents said they prefer ranch. 21% say buffalo chicken dip, and 14% salsa, and 9% queso, which seems very low.
I know. I keep coming back to, I don't know if I've ever had like a social outing specifically for the Super Bowl that didn't have chips and salsa, let alone someone's rendition of like Velveeta based queso, like with Rotel in it.
But if we like wings with queso, no, I don't think so.
And that's a good point, Imelda. Or what we're hearing is that like, yeah, maybe queso and salsa is always present, but maybe people just don't like it.
That's sad.
Well, I'm going to read my favorite stat. Texans are among the top 5 states where food matters the most to Super Bowl party goers. In fact, 55% of respondents said the food totally influences how they judge their host, which like pressures on if you host one of these things. I've never hosted a Super Bowl party myself, but 19% of people said that it strongly affects how they think of their hosts. 36% said it somewhat affects them, but 55% totally influences them. Only 23% said that they notice it, but they don't judge people. And 9% says that it doesn't matter. So Texans, you're a very, very picky bunch.
And that's scary. I mean, if you have people at your home judging you for your food.
It seems like those of you who have ranch, you're pretty much good to go.
I want to share with you a tradition that we have in my family. Every year we share the 3 Kings cake, you know, the Rosca de Reyes. And if you get the baby Jesus out of the bread, you are obliged by the law and the Constitution to make a party on the Super Bowl game. But we have to have good food because all the people that got the baby Jesus have to pay their debt.
I like that tradition, Imelda. I think this one will be a big Super Bowl in my house because my fiance, my husband, I know, I think that's the first time I said it. And he might be listening in from working from home in the other room. He is a big Patriots fan. He's from the Northeast. And so I'm like, what do? Bring clam chowder to dip your chicken wings in instead?
Oh, wow, guacala. I hope not.
All right. And that's all the time we have for today. Make sure to visit dallasnews.com/food for all the latest food news. And we'd love to hear from you. Email us anytime at eatdrink@dallasnews.com. Special thanks to our producer, Julie Fisk. For the news, I'm Anna Butler. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Eat, Drink, DFW from the Dallas Morning News is made possible by Central Market.